You're convinced that 2012 was a golden age. You were completely broke. You were entirely single. You were incredibly stressed. Yet, your mind paints that year with warm gold tones. Why does the past feel so much better? It is a biological trap. Your brain is a master film editor. It cuts out the boring parts. It deletes the painful moments. It leaves behind a perfect, distorted highlight reel. This reveals a strange flaw in human nature. We craved what is gone. We despise what is present. Tonight, when the sun goes down, you're going to flip a switch. You will look backward into your own history. You will feel a phantom ache for an old, cramped bedroom. You will miss a terrible job that you used to hate. You will long for a toxic ex-partner who broke your heart. Why does our mind romanticize our own past suffering? Is there a hidden purpose to this cognitive madness? Roughly 1 in 10 humans is highly prone to chronic nostalgia, and that ratio has held for generations. We invented history books because our own minds are constantly lying to us. In 1997, a breakthrough study changed how we view human memory. Dr. Terence Mitchell at Northwestern University tracked groups of people during major life events. He followed students on a 12-day European vacation. He monitored citizens during a long holiday. He asked them for their emotional ratings in real time. During the actual events, the participants complained constantly. They cited intense exhaustion. They complained about terrible weather. They detailed massive crowd delays. Their real-time journals were filled with absolute frustration. But Mitchell did not stop his study there. He interviewed the exact same participants 3 months later. The results were shocking. The exhaustion was completely forgotten. The bad weather vanished from their narratives. The crowd delays became funny stories. Over 85% of participants rated the trip as significantly better than they did while experiencing it. Dr. Mitchell named this phenomenon Rosy Retrospection. It proves that human memory has an automatic airbrushing tool. We do not remember reality. We remember an optimized version of reality. Why do we possess this selective blindness? What survival advantage does an inaccurate memory provide? To find the answer, we must examine the fading affect bias. Dr. Richard Walker at Winston-Salem State University conducted a massive meta-analysis. He examined thousands of daily diaries spanning multiple decades. He wanted to see how the emotional intensity of memories changes over time. His team discovered a hard mathematical law built into human neurobiology. The emotional pain of negative memories fades twice as fast as the emotional joy of positive memories. When you experience a bad breakup, the pain is initially a 10 out of 10. Within a few years, that negative emotional charge drops to a 2. But a positive memory, like a graduation or a perfect summer day, retains its high emotional charge for decades. Your brain deliberately dulls the sharp edges of old wounds. It keeps the warm glow of old triumphs perfectly intact. Think of it as an emotional immune system. Without this bias, our brains would collapse under the weight of accumulated trauma. Every ancient mistake would feel as raw today as it did 10 years ago. How could we ever take another risk if we remembered the full weight of every past failure? Let us travel back 100,000 years. Imagine a primitive human hunting in a frozen wasteland. The winter is brutal. Food is incredibly scarce. The caveman is shivering on the hard ground. His teeth are chattering. His body is covered in frostbite. If his brain remembered this misery perfectly, he would stay in his cave forever. He would refuse to hunt. He would perish from starvation. But the fading affect bias protects him. By the next spring, his mind forgets the freezing torment. It only remembers the thrill of the successful mammoth hunt. It remembers the warmth of the community fire. He leaves the cave to hunt again. This biological distortion kept our ancestors alive. We invented sunscreen because our own sun is trying to kill us, and we invented nostalgia because reality is too heavy to bear. We are the descendants of prehistoric optimists who possessed highly efficient forgetting mechanisms. But in our modern world of concrete, screens, and isolation, this survival mechanism has mutated into a profound psychological trap. This trap becomes particularly dangerous during periods of personal crisis. Dr. Krystine Batcho developed the nostalgia inventory to measure this exact effect. She discovered that nostalgia spikes drastically when an individual experiences a major life disruption, such as a job loss, a divorce, or a global crisis. When the present moment becomes too chaotic to process, the brain seeks refuge in a predictable environment. It looks backward. This brings us to the concept of the reminiscence bump. If you ask a 60-year-old adult to list their most vivid memories, they will not talk about their 30s or 40s. They will overwhelmingly focus on the years between ages 15 and 25. Why is this specific decade seared into our neural circuitry? This is the period when your identity was formed. It was the era of your first major life choices, your first independent relationships, and your first tastes of autonomy. Your brain stores these foundational memories with extra neurological vividness. When you face an identity crisis in your 30s or 40s, your brain automatically returns to that original blueprint. Do you actually miss the music of that era? Or do you just miss the lack of existential dread? You do not just miss the songs, you miss the clear, uncomplicated version of yourself that listened to them. The physical power of nostalgia is even more literal than you think. Dr. Konstantin Sedekaides at the University of Southampton placed research participants in an artificially chilled room. The room was freezing. One group was instructed to think about neutral everyday events, like grocery shopping. The second group was told to actively engage in a deeply nostalgic memory. The results were extraordinary. The participants who recalled nostalgic memories felt physically warmer than the control group. They tolerated the cold for significantly longer periods. Nostalgia is not just a mental daydream. It is a metabolic regulator. It acts as an internal radiator for the human soul. When the modern world feels cold, lonely, and hyper-competitive, your brain fires up the nostalgia furnace. It floods your system with dopamine and oxytocin. It reminds you that you were once safe, loved, and part of a tribe. Is it any wonder we become addicted to this feeling? Why endure the cold reality of the present when you can wrap yourself in the heated blanket of the past? But here lies the ultimate danger of the nostalgia trap. You're comparing your messy, unedited, real-time present with a highly curated director's cut of your past. It is a completely rigged competition. Your present moment never stands a chance. Right now, you're sitting in a room, experiencing a day that you will one day look back on with intense longing. 10 years from today, you will look at a photograph of yourself from this exact week. You will stare at your face and think about how young you were. You will think about how simple your life was back then. You will completely forget the anxiety you're feeling right this second. The golden age you're chasing does not exist in history. It is a biological mirage generated by an organism trying to survive its own consciousness. The past feels better not because it was better, but because you survived it. You're living in the good old days right now. You're just too busy trying to survive them to notice. Our internal memory storage does not treat all data equally. It forces us to run on a psychological treadmill continuously. Every sensory input is heavily modified before it reaches permanent storage. We shed the weight of old exhaustion to keep moving forward. The mind highlights positive experiences to maintain vital survival motivation. This constant adaptation keeps our internal baseline steady over time, but it distorts our view of everything we have left behind. We see a smooth path instead of the rocky reality. This makes objective comparison completely impossible for the conscious mind. The chemical reward of reminiscing reinforces this internal cognitive distortion. Every retrospective thought triggers a minor wave of neural satisfaction. It lowers immediate stress by referencing a time of proven survival. The brain treats old familiarity as an absolute psychological sanctuary. But is this sanctuary preventing us from engaging with today? We become passive observers of our current existence while chasing ghosts. We break down our current reality into fragments of complaint, while building our history out of perfectly seamless golden tiles. The present requires constant processing power and intense emotional labor. The past requires zero effort because the outcome is fully secure. This asymmetry makes the present feel uniquely exhausting to endure. We split our awareness between memory, experience, and future anticipation. Memory consistently wins the battle for our deepest emotional focus. We build monuments to old years while ignoring the current step. The fading affect bias ensures the monuments stay perfectly clean. It cleans away the soot of old anxieties and daily frustrations. It transforms chaotic lifelines into beautiful, predictable narrative arcs. We become the heroes of a highly romanticized personal legend. This legend is useful for survival, but dangerous for current happiness. It forces a constant state of mild dissatisfaction with the now. We expect our current life to match the edited highlight reel. But real life is never edited. It happens in raw, real time. The weight of the present is always heavier than the memory, because today must be carried, while yesterday is merely observed. We adapt to our current comfort and look for new threats. This ensures we overlook the security we currently possess every day. Our ancestors sat by fires, wishing for the previous mild summer. They looked back at old migration paths with the same longing. Nostalgia is an ancient feature of our shared cognitive architecture. It is built directly into the machinery that keeps us functional. Can we break free from this perpetual cycle of backward longing? Awareness of the bias is the first step toward mental clarity. When a memory feels flawless, the conscious mind must intervene. We must remind ourselves of the unedited context of that era. Remember the exact bills, the uncertainty, and the daily exhaustion. Stripping away the golden tint reveals a normal, difficult human life. This realization does not destroy the memory. It restores its truth. It allows us to place the past in its proper perspective. The past belongs in a cabinet, not on a pedestal. Turning our focus forward changes our relationship with the present moment. It frees up neurological processing power for immediate sensory experiences. You begin to notice the simple values of your current hour. The warmth of a drink, the silence of a room. These small realities are the baseline of future nostalgic longing. Every ordinary second today will become a golden memory tomorrow. We are actively manufacturing the good old days with every breath. The timeline moves in one direction regardless of our emotional protests. Resisting the current moment only ensures we miss the entire journey. Accepting the raw imperfection of today is the ultimate psychological release. It breaks the power of the nostalgia trap once and for all. Your brain can finally stop chasing an edited historical mirage. The Golden Age is not a specific chapter in your history. It is an automated psychological survival trick played by your skull. The past feels safe only because you already know you survived. The present is your actual life, unedited, heavy, and real. Look at your current surroundings without the gold filter of memory. This exact hour is what you will desperately crave in 2036. Do not wait 20 years to appreciate the simplicity of today. Your memory will eventually airbrush away all of your current struggles. It will delete the current bills, the traffic, and the doubt. It will leave behind a beautiful story of how you endured. You will become the legendary hero of this difficult current chapter. The value of this moment expands automatically as it moves away. But you have the unique opportunity to experience it right now. Trade the comfort of old ghosts for the reality of existence. Close the historical highlight reel and look at the real frame. This room, this breath, this exact state of human confusion. The biological mirage will always try to pull you backward. But survival requires moving forward into the unedited, unpredictable future. The past is a finished painting, but today is a blank canvas. Stop worshiping the old art gallery inside your own head. The good old days are not lost in the year 2012. They are happening under your feet at this exact biological second. You're living in the golden age right now. Look around.